Wow, what a game. I can't believe we won that football game, guys. It felt like the world was against us. It really did. I'm going to wait for a few of you guys to fall in here. Oh, I can't believe we won this football game, guys. I'm just in shock. I really felt like we were snake bitten. First and foremost, we have to give a shout out to Aubrey Burks, who unfortunately was hurt in this game. Don't know exactly what happened yet. Don't know how serious it is, but I think a lot of our thoughts and prayers go out to Aubrey. Um, that's just a tough situation. And a lot of injuries in this game. I think that's the theme of the game, right? But what a win by the Mountaineers. If you're not proud of this team, this gritty, tough win, I don't know, and it's been just what a magical season so far. Unfortunately, when they talk about magical seasons, one of the things that usually doesn't happen is players usually don't get injured. And unfortunately, that's happening for us. But I just hope we can overcome some of that stuff. We lost some really good players today, but at the end of the day, happy we got the win. Happy we can celebrate Aubrey and Trey Lathan. I think those are only two serious injuries. And of course, we haven't gotten anything back about Aubrey yet, but it didn't look good. It looked like it was maybe at least a concussion and possibly some kind of neck injury with him, man. Wyatt Milam goes down in this game. I don't want to harp on all the ugly stuff, guys. I know Garrett Green played a gritty game. I said some things on Twitter not a lot of people agreed with, and I thought Garrett he did what he needed to do to win. As it seems like that's what our quarterbacks do. They just grit these things out. Garrett's got to get a little better in the passing game, but at the end of the day, he played hurt in this game. It was very obvious. He was not 100%, and a couple of runs that he would have done better on. I think, had he been 100%, he would have probably been a little more explosive. Normally, he puts his head down on runs, and he wasn't able to do that either. But at the end of the day, yes, clean for a year. Very costly win, but a win nonetheless. Now we have 2 weeks to prepare for Houston. And that's a team I think we all feel pretty good about, no matter who was on our team. And then you start to look at this schedule, guys. We're 2 wins away from bowl eligibility. Who would have thought that? Raise your hand if you knew we were going to be 4-1 after the first 5 games of the season. We have to be the surprise team of the Big 12 and definitely one of the surprise teams of the country. Holding TCU to 21 points, this defense continues to perform. Somebody's going to hire Jordan Leslie after the season. That is now this will be the 5th year. Of the 5 years they've been here, Jordan Leslie has produced a top-notch defense 4 of the 5 years. Give that man a job. Jordan Leslie has earned himself a job. He went and interviewed the Troy job. A lot of people were down on Jordan Leslie after last year, and I understand. We just missed on the guys. And now look, you can look at guys like Hershey McLaurin and Marcus Floyd, and those guys are paying dividends this year, even though they didn't play dividends last year. So, but the defense played a great game. CJ doesn't look like himself. I think that's a lot of the issue that people want to talk about is CJ Donaldson. That doesn't look like himself right now. I would agree. Big Aaron, what's up, brother? Mountaineers know how to show out with their backs against the wall. That's how our state is. I agree. 100% agree, guys. So proud of this team. So proud of this team, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. There's 92 of you guys in here right now. Don't forget to leave a comment below if you're watching this after the fact. And please like the show as always. John Kelly, nobody gave us a chance. That's damn right, buddy. Since there's 100 of you guys in here, I'll just say it real quick. I know we want to get to more of the game. Something I did this past week, because I know a few of you guys were asking about it, was I did I went and did memberships, and I made memberships for the show. There's 2 tiers, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the second tier. The first tier is just the Mountaineer Fanatic tier. That means you get member shout outs, and like, in the comments, your priority. You'll also be a part of when I finally do a Patreon or something like that where we can all gather and talk. I'm still working on that part of it. And then obviously the Mountaineer Insider is if I talk to players, if I talk to coaches, things like that. You guys see the kind of peeps I have on the show now. I wanted to make sure I had some credibility before I did that. If you want to know anything, I will share inside information with you once a month. It'll be one topic, basketball or football, whether that be what players are saying, what recruits are saying that I'm talking to, whatever. And that is what you get with the 699 tier. Along with, we're going to do watch alongs, guys. We're going to go live right here on StreamYard. We'll be able to talk to each other. The game won't be up. We'll be watching them on our own TVs, but we'll be able to talk along with each other as the game goes on. Gripe, complain, scream, holler, hoot, and hell, whatever you want to do. That is the 699 tier. If you think that's worked for you, appreciate you guys for clicking on it. We already have a few members. Big Aaron, Matthew H., and Sasquatch. What is that? Turn on membership gifting? I'll do that, brother. I will do that. I'll do that as soon as the show's over with, man. Back to this game, though. So I was on CJ, and here's my opinion, guys. I think CJ's just hit a bit of a wall. There's a couple plays that wasn't his fault down by the goal line. The one that we got stopped on, Luke Hamilton was blocking, and he kind of got blocked back into CJ, which knocked him off balance, which knocked him into the left guard. And a lot of people said, oh, well, CJ can't punch it in. But I think it's a combination of that. I think it's injuries. I think CJ just really beat up. Think of how much we run the ball, guys. We run the ball how many more times than the next closest Big 12 team? It's a lot. CJ has had a lot of carries. It's only his 12th game. Give the kid a chance. I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter that I wasn't happy about concerning CJ. After the bye week, I believe CJ will be okay. What's up, the EH27? Said I was shocked about the spread and lack of respect. Knew we'd win, although had plenty of anxiety during the game. 2 blocked field goals, baby. Isn't that crazy? Blocked field goal to end the game, guys. And who would have thought that we would be in this situation? I know I've said it and harped on it, but here we are, guys. 14. Freaking 14. We are not 14th. I think a lot of us felt before the season we wouldn't be 14th. You look at this roster, I didn't think we were going to win 10 games. That looks feasible now. But I didn't think we would be 14th. And our coach spoke out for us, and he went to bat for us. And, guys, Neil Brown's coaching his ass off, flat out. I think he due criticism to Neil Brown. The offense has to get better, of course. But this team has taken on the identity of Neil Brown, who may not look like a tough guy, but he is a tough guy. Watch him play in college. That guy was tough. How do you think he made it to the D1 level? He wasn't an elite athlete. He was a tough, hard-nosed player. So this team has taken on that identity. He said, I don't want to be in the Dana Howell Mummy tree. I don't want to be in the Mike Leach tree. I want to be in my own tree. And I'm going to ram it down your throat whether you like it or not. You know it's coming. We have quarterbacks that are just a little bit deficient throwing the ball right now. Maybe they'll get better. And you still can't stop us. You might be able to limit us, but you can't stop us. And so even with teams having 8, 9, 10 in the box, we're still able to run that football. How about Mike Lockhart tonight? How about Sean Martin, who really came on at the end? How about Lee Koba, who played the game of his life? Lee Koba single-handedly knocked Chandler Morris off rhythm. The first quarter and a half, basically 2 quarters, it looked like it was going to be a long night for us guys, right? And Jordan Leslie went to the drawing board almost it was before the half ended, really. They started implementing this zone blitzing style. And I'll be damned if that didn't work. And what a coaching job on defense. What a coaching job on offense. This team was able to play keep away from TCU for a lot of the game. Our defense was able to get rest as a result of that, and just an overall really good coaching job. We've got a lot of places we can get better, but where we're good, we're damn good. What's up, Cole D? Yeah, second Kirk Herbstreit. Well, man, I wish I could get Kirk Herbstreit on this show. Golly, man. What a night to be a Mountaineer, guys. Cue them country roads. If you're not singing it at home, sing it in your head with the crowd. Pat McAfee has to be smiling, although he was tweeting about Duke and not us during the game, which I know that's his job. But I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't a little jealous. I was a little bit, just a little jealous, man. We've got 170 in here, guys. Just want to repeat it one more time. We've got membership tiers. If you want to become a member of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, we've got 2 tiers. One has inside info that I get from coaches, media, and players. The other has a couple other perks, and I can adjust these as time goes. Just wanted to mention that since we had a pretty large number of people in here. If you want your comment to jump to the top, kind of like Kurtz does it, guys, the super chat button is down below. I can't keep up with all this. There's a ton of things going on. Kenny Evans is a new member. Matt B is a new member. Thank you guys very, very much. I promise you I will do my best to follow through on everything that I say. Just give me a week or so to get everything in order. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Not to get with coups on it, but I'm either going to get a patron or Discord, something like that. I'll get something, and that way we can all meet places, talk about things, and it'll be fun. Andrew Smith, thank you for the super chat, man. He said, "I'm proud of this team that really showed how good they were. They really showed how good they were in the second half. How about the special teams and defense? Nice play to all the boys." Absolutely, man. You're right. And I said it during the game. Raise your hand if your butt puckers just a little less when Preston Fox is back there compared to other guys we've had over the last few years. Muffin punts has been something that seems like we've been snake bitten by the last few years. And Preston Fox, while he is not Tavon Austin as an athlete, he's doing one hell of a job. He gets every ounce of talent out of his body that he can. And, even though, and he's just, when he fair catches it, I don't wince, and I don't worry about him dropping the ball. That's a big deal as a fan that worries during the game. Yeah, John, I think he might. I think he's due. I don't know if he's got the breakaway speed to do it. He's not slow by any means. I'm not saying he is, but he's not. He's not running 4.3 or anything like that either. How about that crappy fan base booing young men getting hurt? Pretty classless TCU. I agree. I think because it happens so much in the Big 12, teams that go fast, teams will basically, coach their players to kind of go down for a second. And at the end of the day, I think that we all know that it does happen. In this situation, it didn't. And it was obvious that we had a string of injuries, real injuries happening. And even after they knew that he was injured, they still booed because their team wasn't getting to go up and go. So call that what you will. At the end of the day, guys, that kid number 52, Williams, was extremely dirty. He injured Tomas Rimac. Just the play was over, the field goal's kicked, and you shove him over after his legs are already locked and hurt him. Bull crap, man. And then you want to celebrate because you split the guard and center on a play to stop C.J. Donaldson later on. Well, you created that for yourself because you injured Tomas Rimac. You couldn't beat him heads up. So you had the injury. I'm not saying that he intended to hurt him bad, but he was frustrated and it was dirty. They called him holding offensive lineman 2 different times. And they flagged him for it. Thank goodness. Very rare call, by the way. Luke Bart, you're a new member, man. Appreciate you, bro. Kenny Evans, new member. I'm having trouble keeping up with all of it. Big E, what's up, man? Let's go, Mountaineers. You should get a Discord. I'm going to, Big E. That's the plan, man. Yeah, I'll be getting a Discord for sure. Love these days of being a Mountaineers. Sitting in tears of joy. T fans were the same way in basketball game last year. Yeah. Gotta grab something real quick here. I'm gonna turn this phone on and look at some of the stats for the game, guys. Um, just so proud of this team, man. Don't forget to like the video, guys, if you're watching this after the fact. If you're after the fact, comment on the game as well. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. There's 162 in here. Man, I'm almost to 1,500. If you guys could help me get there, if you're in a good mood, I'd appreciate that too. All right. Oh, by the way, guys, I know you guys saw this. I have a basketball channel called Hoops from the Hills. It's separate with Coos from Coos's Corner. Um, if you don't mind, subscribe to that. We're going to be talking about Jose Perez. If you saw, he retweeted me early, offered to come on the show. Let me know in the comments, guys. Would you like to see Jose Perez come on Hoops from the Hills and talk to me and Coos? Let us know his side of the story, or he's no longer a member of the team anymore, wishing the best down the road. Let me know in the comments, guys. All right, here are the numbers. And if I'm missing some of my channel members, I'm sorry. There's a lot of you guys in here today. All right, so Garrett, man, that's a similar stat line. We've seen that a bunch this year. 10 for 21 was Garrett for 142 yards passing. But Garrett had 12 rushing yards, 12 rushes for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, which, I mean, let's be honest, those were the biggest plays of the game. Hudson Clement really had a couple catches that were really tough. On Chandler Morris threw for almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bailey was limited to 55 yards. Guys, that's the leading rusher in the conference. And Richardson really had a nice game. That kid is good from TCU. That kid is really good for a big, tall kid like that. So let's see. Let's look at the defensive stats here. I'll be interested to see what the Pro Football Focus numbers are on this. So rushing, CJ ran it 22 times for 61 yards and a touchdown. That's 2.8 yards an attempt. It's got to get better. It's just got to get better. Thank you, Andrew Smith. New member Andrew Smith. Old gold and blue. That's right, brother. There was a lot of drop balls. I agree 100%. Okay, so let's look at some of the player stats. Don't mind my cats, guys. They're crazy. I'm at my buddy's house right now. I have housework being done, so I've been at my buddy's house here for about 2 months, but I'll be moving back on the 1st. So my background won't look so plain Jane when I get back. All right, Jaheim White had 6 rushes for 46 yards. I thought he was a nice he provided a nice spark in place of it seems like Jalen Anderson was benched in favor of Jaheim White. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that. He averaged 7 yards a carry today. Rodney Gallagher had a couple nice plays. It was really nice to see that. Other than that, you go to the defensive side of things. Well, they don't have. Let's see. Interesting. Sorry, y'all. Let's see. They don't have the defensive stats posted yet, which is really odd. I mean, seriously. Where it says defense, it's just got 2 dashes. So they haven't posted the defensive stats yet. That's really interesting. Let's see. Total yards, TCU had 433 to West Virginia's 343. We're used to that. We're used to being outgained and winning these games. I don't think that's, anything crazy. Did you check our record when we rush over 100 yards, by the way? Neil Brown is just unbeatable when he goes over 100 yards. I mean, he's lost 3 or 4. 298 to 142 on the passing side of things. Yards per play, 5.5 to 5.3. That was a big deal. We held them to a very small number of yards per play. Rushing yards was 135 them to 201 us. First downs were pretty close, 23 to 20. Third down, we really played well on third down today. We held them at 7 for 17. Now, remember, we got the number 1 third down defense in the country, or maybe it was the top 30, I think I saw before the game. 4 for 13 for us on third down. like I said, we're not going to look down the list any week and see that we have great offensive numbers, probably. Although I do expect us to run it on Houston a lot more. And then Oliver Straw continues to just kick the crap out of the ball. Special teams really playing well right now, guys. All right. Andrew Smith said, "Love your channel, Paul. Moved to South Carolina from Fairmont. It just feels like home when I get in here, man. I appreciate that. That means a ton. Um, you know, I hope that's what I can bring. I mean, I'm from Mingo County, West Virginia, a place called Dingus. Was raised there half my life, been in Ohio the other half, but I live on the Huntington border, so I'm always in West Virginia. And at the end of the day, that's I got it tattooed on my chest. The flying WV, baby. That's till I die. Um, and that's actually my dad's initials. He passed away. Put that right over my heart, and that's where the Mountaineers are for me. So if you're like that, if you're that kind of fan, if you love the Mountaineers, and sometimes you turn it off for a play or two, thinking that you hold all the power and you can change what happens in the game, then you're probably the kind of fan that needs to be in this room with me, because that's what I do. Kuz will tell you. I'm always texting him saying, well, maybe if I just leave for a couple plays, things will turn around. And I do all kinds of crazy crap, man. But, I know I don't control none of it, but it makes me feel good. Should have won by 2 scores, but I'll take the win. Yeah, I do too, Krista. But, I think it's going to be natural to expect this defense to drop off a touch. I mean, you lose Aubrey Burks, who, let's just keep it real, preseason anyway, was probably the best player on this team, right? Or on the defense, most people would say. Lee Kova has really stepped up and become, possibly the best player on the defense. But we've got a few guys now. One thing I'll say about the Trey Lathan injury, Ben Cutter is not as athletic as Trey Lathan is, no doubt about that. But he really played a whale of a ball game today. Ben Cutter will step into that will linebacker spot, and thank God we have Ben Cutter. And I don't expect to see too much drop off. The only thing that I'm worried about really is from I don't know how much of the defensive playbook Ben knows, but he's got 2 weeks to get her done. And if you go look at his film from Charlotte Catholic High School, or no, that's where Sean Boyle went. But Ben Cutter went to high school in Charlotte or in North Carolina as well. Go check out his tape, guys. He is a tackling machine, and I would really expect him to play well going forward from that will spot. Really hate it for Trey Lathan. Yeah, I understand, man. JB Shark said Mingo County. That's damn right. Yates said I was shocked. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. Sorry, buddy. Trying to make sure I didn't lose anybody. Made your mother-in-law go to the bath eventide, and we were on offense a few years ago because we scored when she was in there. See, that's the kind of crap I do, man. Cutter had 6 tackles, 2 solo. Yeah, and one of them was a big stop in the backfield. It was either I think it was on a run play, but he really shot in there. Oh yeah, don't get me started on the drop picks, Andrew. I mean, you know, you hear the joke all the time. DBs wouldn't be on defense if they were good receivers, and I think that really rings true. Kova dropped one. I want to say Beanie definitely dropped another 2. Beanie could have lead. He could lead the country in interceptions this year if you just catch them. And I think we had another guy drop one, and I'm trying to remember who it was. But you guys get it. We dropped a ton of interceptions today. I would love to know how many QB hurries, if somebody can find out while we're in here, how many QB hurries Lee Koba had on Chandler Morris today. Because listen, that kid scared me. I'm not gonna lie. The first half, he's fast too. I mean, he's got Garrett Green speed, and he's also got really good agility. I mean, that play right before they kicked the field goal, where they bring him down, he's able to somehow avoid touching the ground. He puts his hand down and is able to just have the upper body strength to keep his hand from touching the ground and getting rid of that thing. That's crazy athleticism that kid has. I do feel like Clement is getting better every game. Yeah, I do too. And to think about it, man, it just takes reps for a lot of these guys. Traylon Ray is another guy that I really think we all expected a little more from. Rodney Gallagher should have scored today. Garrett overthrew that one. It's all good whenever you win the game. Had we lost this game, I'd probably be being a little harder on Garrett. I'm not gonna lie, guys. He really didn't do, even the pass that Cole caught was right back here, as he crossed, on that skinny post down the seam. At the end of the day, though, it was there. He caught it. We scored. Like I told Koo, sometimes I think because I'm such a Nico fan that I look for bias to kind of say things against Garrett. And I don't mean to do that. I love Garrett and I want him to perform well every week and stuff like that. But his intermediate passing inefficiency really bothers me. I just think I think there's going to be a game where man, it really bites us. The Penn State game is kind of one of them. But what he does well, he does well. So, and I can't forget that too. Lee had 3 QB hurries run to read. Thanks, brother. Agreed. Agreed, John Kelly. Yeah. From what I understand, from what I was told, uh, these guys came in the same class. They both came from JUCO, and there was pretty high expectations for both. I think the struggles in the quarterback room married with they didn't rise to the level they needed to either. Remember, Cortez Brazen in the offseason said that they felt disrespected, right? Said it right in a press conference. Well, now you got people paying attention, like, oh, okay, this guy must be doing something. And then you come out and kind of lay an egg the first 3 games of the year, 4 games of the year. I think, it's a combination of the pressure, but I was told it was just wasn't working. In this day and age when you can basically tell players to kick rocks, um, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying that um, they basically weren't going to play anymore. It was basically said to them like Rodney Gallagher, Traylon Ray, Hudson Clement, Preston Fox. These guys are getting the reps. If they get injured, you can play. But for now, we're going to get these young guys ready because Neil was playing with house money. Thing about this, guys, Neil Brown is in a position of power now. Who would have ever thought that? He is 4-1. All he's really got to do is probably get to 7, 8, right? And that feels extremely achievable. I think he's pretty confident he's going to get there. And he can really start to plan for the future now as to where to start the year. This guy, I mean, he was probably every play felt like live or die for Coach Brown. And now he's got some breathing room. He's off the hot seat. Can we just say it now? You beat the national runner-up at home at night. You're off the hot seat. And can this still go south for him? Absolutely it can. But Coach Brown has coached himself off the hot seat for now. And I think he's going to coach himself right into another contract, possibly. And look, guys, the talent we have coming back next year, we just got to get better at the quarterback spot. They really got a nice program set in. Another person needs a lot of praise is Matt Moore. He's a guy that's taken a ton of criticism, and all he's done is produced one of the best offensive lines in the country that even though people know we're going to run it, can't quite stop us from doing it. And he really built the lineup to be what it is, with Mike Joe and this, scheme. So I think a lot of these coaches deserve credit. You criticize them when things aren't going right. We'll give them credit when things are going right, when they're not going wrong. That's how I feel. I like to be fair. Rimbaker was on the field during the carting off of injuries, and on the sideline by Brown on the road. When's the last time we've seen our AD that involved? Yeah. As you guys know, if you don't know, we had Rim Baker on my show just a couple days ago. Really had a really nice hour-long conversation with our athletic director. He's an incredible guy. He's incredibly smart. He's not intimidating at all to talk to. He's extremely personable. He's just a small town guy like we all are. And he really eats, sleeps, and breathes how to make money for us. None of those things are bad. And the marriage of a young Neil Brown and a young Rim Baker, maybe it's what we needed. And, who knows, guys? Maybe this thing turns around after all. It's happened before. Bobby Bowden did it, and Frank Beamer did it, although in different eras, and I get that. There have been coaches that have struggled for 3 or 4 years and got it off the ground and had Hall of Fame careers. Frank Beamer being like probably the most obvious example. So it can happen. And who knows what Neil Brown becomes after this. But I know that's really looking ahead, and that's really going too far. I get it, but it's okay to dream, isn't it? That's how I am, guys. I dream about. How many of you want to see the Mountaineers just play in the national championship game before we die? I think '07 was that supposed to be that day. It's been taken from us. Let's get back, And I mean, if you don't feel good about the trajectory of this team going forward now, you ain't going to. Ocho85 said they wrote us off, but we didn't write back with the Geno Smith reference. I love it, man. Good night, everyone. Q Country Road says Old Gold Blue. Make sure I didn't leave anything. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt B. I didn't see you, brother. It's so many things going on. Good teams with bad luck. And what WVU did that tonight. Are you talking about we have bad luck or TCU? Not exactly sure there, brother. But yeah, WVU definitely got bad luck. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, the money came in on TCU all week long. It grew from what was it, John? I think it grew from I want to say 11 and a half, the very opening line that came out, and it grew to 12, 12 and a half, 13, 13 and a half, all the way up to 14. That's 2 scores. That means they think you suck. But guess who's going to be in the top 25 after this week, guys? Maybe we guys. So if you're not excited about that, I don't know what to tell you. How about them freaking Mountaineers, man? Let's get some of the comments. Yeah, Ocho. Hopefully they do, man. Obviously a couple of guys ain't coming back, right? Aubrey, not sure on his situation. If somebody has an update, maybe they do. I'm assuming it was a head or neck injury. Neither is good. I don't know which one to root for. Concussions can sometimes be career ending. And that was a tough, hard hit. It didn't look like too big of a neck injury, but it was kind of like a whiplash, right? So it's hard to say, man. I don't want to speculate on it because you start to think, because you start to talk about it from a football perspective, and life is just so much bigger than that. So at the end of the day, I just hope Aubrey is able to be function as a human being, you know. So hopefully that. But Trey Lathan's probably definitely out for probably the year. I mean, that's a nasty injury, and hopefully it's all clean and he can come back 100%. But you look at this linebacking core, Josiah Trotter Jr., who, by the way, might be the best of all of them, that include that, which is saying something. Will be back next year, assuming none of these guys transfer. Trey Lathan will be back next year. Ben Cutter will be back next year. I think Koba might be gone. He may be a senior or junior. I haven't looked recently, but it's a heck of a core group of guys. You start to look at what we got coming back, and you think Rodney Gallagher, Trey Lathan, Nico Markey will have another year of experience. So will Garrett Green, C.J. Donaldson, Jaheim White, this offensive line with Nick Malone coming up, Tomas Remack, Johnny Williams, they say might be the next big thing. You start to talk about all these players that are coming back next year. Darajier at the defensive end spot looks like the second coming of Bruce Irvin. What a game he had tonight. Although he plays way different than Bruce. He's not as fast off the edge. He's just really strong. And you start to look at all around and like, holy crap, when do we get good players? Because it's like you look in the last couple of years and you really have to look for a good player. Um, it's just a shame that we don't have some of the skill guys. We wanted the Bryce Ford Wheatons and the Sams gone, and I wish we had them this year. Just imagine if we could throw it like we did last year, just a little bit. So we get some updates on the injuries. I would say that we will. ESPN talked to Brown after the game. He said, um, I'm assuming you mean Burks may get to go home with the team. That would be awesome. Yeah, I did, Aaron. It was nasty, bro. You know, it was nasty, unfortunately. Matt B said, meant WVU had bad luck and still won. Bad calls, bad injuries, muff punts, and bouncing the wrong way. Still came on top. Yeah, for sure. Although we really didn't have that many bad penalties today compared to in the past. I mean, you look at those two defensive holding calls on the defensive tackle; those were really in our favor. I mean, for the referees to even call those is very rare. I mean, that happens a lot. When the center, obviously, the center works his way up to the second level in the zone running scheme. Usually, you chip block one guy or you double and you come off that guy and you go to the next guy and you work your way up to the second level, whether that be linebacker, whether that be safety, whoever. And this guy was literally preventing him from doing that. You can't tell me he's the only guy that's ever prevented a center or a guard from working up to the second level. I'm sure it sneakily happens all the time. But he got called for it. It's a really rare call that you don't see very often. What a win. That's right. Yeah, they let us play. And look, there was a couple. We got to listen. We got away with a late hit out of bounds. We got a couple away with a couple hits on the quarterback that I was in this day and age about. You just never know. And so this team played its ass off though at the end of the day, and I think that the referees respected our game tonight, and we were the tougher football team. There's no doubt. Oh yeah, I'm sure he was. See, Kelsey, I thought that after what I just outlined, there was a late hit out of bounds we didn't get called on us. There was a couple pass interference calls that were iffy with us, in my opinion, that we didn't get called. There was a few late hits on the quarterback they didn't call on us. Does anybody else agree with that, or am I just wrong? Because I feel like they really kind of let us play. Yeah, no good at all on the injuries. Hey, you know what? Joey Foster's another guy. I'm not going to lie. Joey Foster stood by Neil Brown like an MF or two. He did. It would be tough, Mark, but I think it's possible. No doubt about it. I think it's possible. Yeah, exactly. Agree. For the most part, it was. I felt pretty good. I'm not going to say that, until it comes out and is reported. Um, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it's, if you're asking me to guess on what it looked like from my vantage point, it looked like a concussion. But remember Tua last year, guys? Tua Tagovailoa, when he got slammed to the turf and his body seized up on him like that. I mean, concussions can mimic neck injuries and vice versa. I mean, it's literally connected to your spinal cord. To me, it looked like a tough, a really hard hit. Who knows? Nathan said he's taken abuse for 3 years over Brown. Imagine being Neil Brown, Nathan. Just kidding with you, man. Yeah, I hope not too. Are there people saying that he broke his neck? What's up, John Cunningham? Said, yeah, Neil said he thought he was going to be able to come on the team. I don't think that's the case with a broken neck. There's no way. If he broke his neck, there's no way he's coming home with the team. Okay, so people were saying he was going home with the team. So there's that. Special teams won the game tonight. There's no doubt about it. Who blocked that punt, guys, or that kick? Because as soon as it got blocked, I started creating this live show because I wanted to be first. That's the deal. You go first, and sometimes because this is we got a lot of West Virginia YouTubers, man, and I'm not as big as some. I'm bigger than others, and I just wanted to make sure you guys came and heard what I had to say real quick. Let's just say it like that. Sean Martin, hey, how about that, man? I'm proud for good of Sean, especially after the injury scare he had. Uh, so glad to see that. Really happy for Sean Martin. The stand in Fort Worth. Well, now we're getting on a couple different. Okay, man. I guess you're talking about my membership. I've got membership packages, guys. If you want to be a member of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, there's two tiers. The $2.99 tier is you'll get member shout outs. You will get guaranteed interaction in the comments from me. And then the $6.99 is, you know, like I said before, I've put screenshots on here when I talk to players. Um, I talk to coaches or if I talk to media people, and I get intel from different places. So what I'll be able to do is, in some cases, with some of you, I'll be able to share the intel that I get as long as I'm not sworn to secrecy on it. And we'll be able to share some of that with you guys as long as you don't say anything. Just something I'm trying out. Hopefully that can work. Obviously, we're going to do live streams together as well where we can watch the game together on StreamYard on this platform. Live, your heads will come up, popped up, and you'll come on the show and we'll watch the games together. Maybe 7 or 8 of us will go live. We'll talk about the game. That's something I'm thinking about trying out as well. What's up, Jeffrey Foster? He said, Golden Blue Dude is smiling down on you on WVU. Ready now. Wish he was still here. He would have loved this. Swarm one, baby. They have a great shot at going 6-1, going into the bounce house. I agree, 100%. And that is the Jeffrey Foster I was talking about, who I said earlier stuck with Neil Brown through rain and shine, guys. Jeffrey Foster was beating the Neil Brown drum last year. Now, could Neil Brown still mess it up, like I said earlier? Yes. But as of right now, Neil Brown is in a power position. He's coached his butt off, and he deserves all his flowers, guys. I know some of you still want him fired, and that's fine. Some of you still don't think the offense looks good, and that's fair. But at the end of the day, just like Tim Tebow did, he just won, and I'll take it. Update. Junior safety Oliver Burks will stay in Fort Worth tonight for observation. Red shirt freshman linebacker Trey Lathan will also remain in town and have surgery on her lower leg injury. Alex, you're an MVP, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I agree, Kenny. Golden Blue Dude would be happy. Oh, thanks. Hey, look at this guy, man. This is that's what we need. We need people in the comments to keep me on track here. If you haven't subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, guys, I'd really appreciate it. I know I was getting close to 1,500 subscribers. Would certainly appreciate if you guys could help me get up over that 2,000 mark. It is a status symbol in the YouTube community. 2,000 is credibility. And you start moving up from there. You can only get to where Golden Blue Dude was by putting in the work. And if you look on my show in the last week, I've had Rim Baker, I've had Steve Slayton, and I've got in the works other former WE players. I've been trying to talk to Noel Devine, Pat White, other guys like that. That I have messages in contact with to possibly come on this show and give you guys what you want. So if you want that, man, hit that subscribe button. and just help me out. That's all I'm saying, because I work hard, I try. Well, this is like a Huggins basketball team. You're damn right, Silver Mark. What's up, Trey Sargent? Burks and Trey Lathan staying in Fort Worth. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate everybody for the update on that. I do too, Jacob, and that's a good point. The defense really, really rallied around their guys, right? You lose, arguably, you could make a case those are number one and number two. Now, Lee Koba probably is number two. Number one, there's so many guys. I feel like I'm slighting somebody every time I try to rank them. But in my opinion, everything Aubrey Burks did on the back end, along with his sure tackling, although he missed a couple tackles tonight, very unlike him. Everything Aubrey did on the back end and the tackling, he, and he was preseason All American, and just all the things. I think he may show up bigger in the loss column, but we damn sure can't lose Lee now, because he's our only athletic linebacker left, really. He got more pressure on the passer tonight than some of our bandits did. He was really doing it tonight. It does suck going Boo Dude here isn't here anymore. I think about him a lot, man. I'm glad you guys all love him so much too. Oh, the Dutch Miller. Oh my gosh, you're right. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory today at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. Thanks, Sasquatch. I appreciate the update on that, man. I'm about to hire one of you guys. Yeah, that was a tough call. That freaking clown outfit, man. He was goofy with it, man. He just, he had his own way of doing things. He marched to the beat of his own drum, and I think at the end of the day, that's why people gravitated toward him. Because you can look. When somebody is BSing, you can tell, right? And I think that's why people gravitate towards Coos. Hopefully, you guys gravitate towards me, and guys like GBD, because we're real fans, just like you are, that really put a lot of work in to try to get good at this. It's not easy, sitting in front of this camera and trying to keep several hundred people entertained 4 or 5 days a week. It's not easy. It takes a lot of learning on the job. There's a lot of stuff technology wise you got to know. And so I'm really glad that you guys have supported me through this to where I can make it my full time job now. It means a ton. I saw that, Aaron. I saw that. Yeah, I agree. I think, for whatever reason, I think he's coached scared at points in his career, and he's learned a lot at the Power Five level. Um, you look at those Troy teams, and he could have stayed at Troy for 30 years if he wanted to. Probably could have had a couple losing seasons and still been there. At West Virginia, I think he's got a little bit longer leash than some people thought he would have, but also should have. And at the end of the day, he's made it work for himself, and I think he's learned, just like today. Did he go for it on fourth down a couple times? You're damn right he did. You run the road against a team that played in the national championship last year. There's no harm in losing to this TCU team. They're pretty damn good. And he put it out on the line. And yeah, we got stopped on a couple times, but we still won this football game because he trusted our defense. He trusted in their coaching. And at the end of the day, I think Neil is a lot more confident now. Listen, all it takes is to get a string of things going, man, to get yourself confident. You just got to have some things go right. I'll never forget, guys. This is a little story about me, real quick. Um, a lot of you guys know I'm in recovery, and I've been clean for a few years now, 3 years. And when I was first starting to get clean, not only was my brain coming back chemically, but I didn't really have an income, and I was staying in a house that I was barely being able to pay for on my own, the rent. I was working at a rehab, and well, first I didn't have a. My parents helped me get in there. Then I got my own job and was able to take care of it. There was a point in time where I was so down on myself, and because I quit the job because of just all when you use bad drugs over the course of time, your brain chemically gets messed up. And I was going through changes in my brain chemically, and it was causing me to go through these phases of depression and things like that. And so I had to quit my job, and I paid my rent for it for a while. But there was a point in time where I had no income. I was just sitting at home, and then COVID happened. I put on a bunch of weight, and before I knew it, I was extremely depressed. And all I needed to happen was one good thing, and you guys were the one thing. And it really pulled me out of a bad spot. And that was the one good thing that happened for me. I tell that story only because I've been taught that talking about it helps, and I try to be transparent with you guys, and I hope that is something you respect. If it's not something you're down with, I get it. A lot of people are angry with people who have had addiction issues and for whatever reasons, and I understand that. I just choose to talk about it. Maybe it'll help somebody who's dealing with it. Maybe somebody's going through it. You never know. Or maybe somebody who's got somebody that they know are going through it. There's 100% hope. And I'm sitting here today showing 3 years later that there is. Awesome, John. I was in the Marine Corps, man. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Mark, I appreciate you, brother. I'm glad you guys are with me. Jason, here's how I look at it now, man. They're just going, those posts are going to happen. They're going to be out there. There are people that are probably never going to be happy with Neil, just like there were people who were never happy with hugs, right? So at the end of the day, man, I think we just have to. There's a saying, since we're on the recovery talk, there's a saying in the recovery community: accept them where they're at right now. Like when I went to rehab for the first time, there were some really immature people in there, and my counselor and my sponsor would tell me, you just got to accept them where they are. They're the age that they started using, even though they might be 50. And it took me a minute to really accept. So same thing with the Neil Brown people. Accept them where they are, man. Nothing we can do about it. John said I was a jarhead. Attack John in the comments right now, everybody. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that very much. It means a lot. It means a lot too, man. I don't know how long you've been around. To be honest, your name is not one that I immediately recognize, and I don't mean no disrespect. There's a lot of people that come through here. But I've always been pretty transparent about my recovery. And sometimes, I guess I just get a hankering to talk about it or use a part of my life as a sharing, a way to share and hopefully help somebody. Because I do have a goal of hopefully helping other addicts through this platform someday. I'm not there yet, but if I can get the thing big enough, and I think I can, I really do. Uh, as long as I, keep at it, there'll be a time where I can set aside time to hopefully help addicts as well. Subject text saved your life, Kelsey. Appreciate you for sharing that, man. That takes a big man to share that. The sack reverse was on tuck rule level for bullshit. That made me laugh. It is. I was That's why I told everybody to attack. It was really a joke. Yes, jarhead is a strong word for people in the Marines. Um, Definitely don't. It's not a bad thing for the most. It's just it's more like you know how you and your buddies rib each other. It's more of a rib. It's nothing derogatory really. Thanks, Lizzle. Hope you subscribe, man. Would appreciate that subscription if you can. It's free, by the way. The subscriptions are free, but the membership is not. I've been clean since 2018, Paul. I know how hard it is, but we're better at the end of the day now. I'm down south and work for BMW. Tell your story. You deserve that shit, bro. Thanks, Andrew, man. Means a ton, bro. That's great. Hey, that's not a bad name. Just saying. Awesome, Jonathan. Glad to hear that, man. Listen, you guys are really making me smile now talking about this stuff. I knew they'd hang tough even though I took the points over the money line, but I still believe they could do it. They're giving us 4 good quarters of tough physical football. Agreed, Matt. Agreed. John, your dad was a Marine. Ah, so that's why you went to the Army. You said, I want no part of that. Yeah, no, it's no big deal, bro. Awesome, Luke. Well, we got a few people in recovery in here, man. That's great. I knew that's probably one of the reasons we gravitate toward each other. Not near Paul Talks Recovery. That's a pretty good idea, Mark. I'll give you credit for that name forever if I do it, for sure. Well, let's look at that schedule real quick before we get out of here for the night. It's almost 1 in the morning, and there's people in this house that probably want me to shut up. Um, let's look at the schedule real quick. All right. So, bye week, we go to Houston. I think we win that game. Oklahoma State, I think we win that game. UCF, I think we win that game, guys. I truly do. I'm not just saying that. So that's 5, 6, 7, and 1. BYU is going to be a tough game, but we got it at home. Now we go to the bounce house for UCF. Maybe we lose that game. I think we split the game between UCF and BYU somewhere. We're going to have to lose somewhere, guys. Unless it's truly just a magical season. But UCF and BYU are both capable teams of beating us. I think. I'll go with BY or UCF or BYU. One of those two we lose. So let's say we're after BYU. We are. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-2. I think Oklahoma's probably a loss. 7-3. I think we beat Cincinnati and Baylor. So I'm saying I think 9-3 is a legit possibility at this point. Seriously. I think 9-3. And if you'd have told us before the season that 9-3 was a possibility, we'd have jumped all over it, right? So it's time to get excited. And I think Mountaineer Field needs to be sold out for every home game remaining. And barring we're thin now. Thank God we've got as many D linemen as we do, but in the secondary, that's the one place we couldn't afford to get hurt. Linebacker, I mean, we've still got Jairo Favors and um, Pavaris and you know Ben Cutter, so I think we can plug and play there. But in the secondary, we can't afford any more injuries. I haven't seen Jacoby Spells, nor I haven't seen Hyde nor Hair him so far this year, and there's a couple other guys, and I'm like, where the heck did you go? Hopefully, they're not one of the ones that they were talking about that were no longer with the team. Thanks. I appreciate that, Larry. It means a ton, man. It really, really does. Awesome, man. It means that I appreciate that, Doormat. That's a clever name for your name. Hershey had a great game. He got banged up too, and I mean, it's just one after the other, guys. This bye week came at a better spot, right? Really? Your ASVAB score was too high? Lord have mercy. Why'd you go to the Army if it was so high? You should have went to the Air Force. Mine was I think I scored in the 60s. I could have went elsewhere. Um maybe maybe it was in low 70s, but I chose the Marines because the damn recruiters are really good at what they do, and whether you view it fortunately or unfortunately, they it was the respect that I wanted, that uniform, and there's only a couple places you can get that. Well, you can get it all branches of service. I don't knock any branch, but the Marines obviously have just a little bit different level of respect, in my opinion. Those blues, man, they just don't get much better than that. Yeah, right. And look, Oklahoma's. I mean, they beat the out of Iowa State today. Since he played them tough, uh, I'd certainly think our defense can play them tough. Think about it, guys. As well as our guys can get home, Dylan Gabriel he ain't no Chandler Morris. He's not anywhere near that level of agility. So I'm just saying they might have us beat on the back end with some of their receivers. Well, there's no doubt that they do, especially since Aubrey went down. Although Malachi Ruffin is another guy, guys, by the way, he got tried 5 or 6 times today and was good. He said, "No, I got it. I'm on an island. Don't worry about me." Uh, so I'm gonna say we I'm gonna say we are at least getting votes, but I have to see. Did anybody in the top 25 lose today? That should. I mean, obviously Duke and Notre Dame were. Let's see some of those scores because that's going to play a major part uh, in whether or not. So let's see. All right, looks like. Sorry, guys. All right, Washington's beating Arizona. Let's Florida will be knocked out of the top 25. Um, Kansas won't be. Missouri will have to be into the top 25. I think they might have already been. Um, Ole Miss won a game. They shouldn't have won. That's crazy. Um, Tennessee's probably going to jump back in. It's going to be tough for us, guys. I think we're going to have to win maybe one more to get in there. But I would be surprised to see us get in. Um, Curious to see what you guys think. LSU lost again. Yeah. Sorry, Coos falls on first. What did he say? Something? Is Coos on here? Yeah, Florida number 22. I saw that. Uh, that's a good question. I think I'm going to say they stick with it. They're a good team, guys. They really are. They got Texas pulled away from them today, but you look at the teams they've already beaten. I mean, who else do they have left that can beat them on the schedule? I don't even know who their schedule lines up with. They probably still got to play K State. Um, I don't know who else they play. I'd have to look. Jose Perez, yeah. I actually just said something about that earlier, Jacob. Me and him corresponded on social media. I'm going to try to get him on the show on Hoops from the Hills and see if he wants to talk about what happened or just to talk. I mean, I'm not saying he was right or wrong or anything like that. Definitely not trying to take his side. Just want to be objective and give the kid a chance to talk if that's what he wants. I agree. There's no doubt, John. You know they're going to ignore us. Did somebody give a super chat that I forgot about? Aaron Rifle, I'm so sorry, man. I am so sorry if I forgot you. Get Jaheim more touches on early downs. This offense desperately needs more home run hitters. Say it again and say it with vigor. Goodness gracious, man. The biggest, we've got to be bottom of the country in explosive plays down there, but at the end of the day, that ball control thing we got going on is working pretty damn good, isn't it? That's exactly right, Stephen. Uh, not sure what you mean there, unless you're talking about something else there, brother. Kansas had UCF, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Texas Tech, State, TCU in order. Okay, well, Oklahoma State's a win, Iowa State's a win, Texas Tech's a win, K State's a loss, and Cincy's a win. So I mean, what do they got? One more loss on their schedule? I mean, you know, they're good. They're good. Yeah, it sucks, man. I hate to see it. Well, I think that's just who we are as a football team. We're not going to get them all, but I think it has a lot to do with CJ too. He's just running hurt. It looks like to me. He's not the same. The guy that ran those two on the goal line against Pitt, where it looked like he about killed himself. I think CJ's nicked up, guys. I think he's also hit a little bit of a mental wall. Look for CJ to come back on, turn it on after the bye. That's my prediction. I think CJ will look a lot better after the bye. Remember, guys, he's only played 12 college games at running back in his life. 12 games. That's not a lot, man. So I think we're going to have to rotate Justin in and Jaheim. But CJ will get it going again. It's just they know how to, running backs from one to the other shift up how they hit the hole, the timing to the hole. And when the same back gets to carry every time, they can time that up. No, I think Neal's coached himself right into a position of power. That's what I said earlier. He's earned it, man. You know, he's been brave. He hasn't gotten all the fourth downs he's gone for, but he's been brave. It's not like Pitt last year where he didn't go for it on 4th and 1, and that kind of redefined our entire season. This was the opposite of that, So really big win on the road, guys. All right, guys, it's 1 in the morning. I got to jump off. I got people here that probably need to go to sleep. So it's been an hour and 8. Really hope you guys don't mind that. But I'll be on tomorrow. I'll probably make a couple videos. I'll make one tomorrow on some stuff. We got a lot to talk about. So I got to get to sleep and research some stuff in the morning, spend some time with the family. If you're not subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, please do so. Hit that like button as always. Don't forget to comment. And don't forget, guys, 2 membership tiers, Mountaineer Fanatic and Mountaineer Insider. The difference between the two is Mountaineer Fanatic, you get member shout outs. You get me in the comments back and forth. Mountaineer Insider, what I'm hearing from recruits, what I'm hearing from players, what I'm hearing from media. We'll go into Discord and we'll talk about some of that stuff. It'll be just kind of like what you get with Rivals or 247, except I'm not going to steal from their messenger board. This is going to be stuff I've got. You know what I mean? So if that's something you're interested in, try that out. If not, hit that subscribe button. It's free. All right, guys. I hope you. Yes, I'll be getting a Discord pretty soon. So I'm probably going to work on that, and I'll have it by this week. So, all right, Stephen. Find me on X at Paul Mountaineer, and hit me up on my in my inbox. It's scrolling on the bottom right there, and we'll talk. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, guys. This episode is over, and I am out. Q Country Roads.